This is the second time I'm making this video because the first time my video had no audio. So, Kamala Harris recently has stated that she will not run for governor of California. And in the near future, unless if Kamala Harris is retiring from running for public office, really the only option that I see her taking is running for president in 2028. And today I'm going to make a video on what if Kamala Harris does get the presidential nominee for the Democrats and how this could look electoral on the electoral college. And let me also pull up JJ Maps. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out the safe states. So before I really start talking about the electoral college, first I want to talk about the candidates' approval ratings. So right now Donald Trump has a negative 5.4 approval rating, I believe, and Kamala Harris, one thing I remember is Kamala Harris, before Joe Biden dropped out and endorsed Kamala Harris for the presidential nominee, Kamala Harris was polling pretty bad. Saw some polls stating that she was polling negative 10 to 15% on her job as vice presidency. But after she won the Democratic nomination and became, I guess, the face to defeat Trump, the true Democratic liberalism, her polling shot up to, I believe, only negative 5% around what Trump is right now, or negative 3% too. I even saw some polls with her above water, but same way with how some polls have Trump above water. But yes, as vice president, if you looked up polls in 2023 and early 2024, people did not think she was a good vice president. And I do believe the same thing is happening to J.D. Vance right now. His polling isn't as bad, but he is polling underwater. I see a lot of polls with him around negative 3 to 8%. So he definitely is not the most popular candidate either. And I do think him being the extension of, the Trump administration doesn't really help his case to win the presidency in 2028. But also, in this election, so I believe a lot of voters want to change from the Trump administrations and the Obama administrations, because we had the Obama administration for 8 years, then the Trump administration for 4 years, and then Biden comes back, which is really just an extension of the Obama administration, and then we're gonna have the Trump administration for another 4 years, and then we have, let's say Kamala Harris runs. I don't know if people want to stay in this era of Obama era politics. I also don't think people want to stay in the Trump era of politics either. So I do think this election is a lose-lose, but when people think of Kamala Harris, they think of Joe Biden. They don't really think of Obama. So she doesn't really have that success that Obama had at her side like Joe Biden did. So anyway, let's fill out the likely. I do think J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio will win this district of Maine and Texas both by around 9.5%. I do believe Kamala Harris and Josh Shapiro would win New Mexico, New Jersey, probably not New Hampshire by around 7 points, and Virginia by around 7 points. Now we'll get into the closer states, which I only have 2 states that are in between, or no, I don't. But these are going to be states in between the 2 to 4% margin. I do believe Minnesota, New Hampshire are both going to go Kamala Harris and Josh Shapiro by around 3 to 4 points, somewhere around there. I do think North Carolina and Arizona will both go Republicans. I think Arizona will go to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 3 points, and I think North Carolina will go J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 2 points. Now, if we look at Nevada, I also believe it will go to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio by around 2 or 3 points, around the same margin Trump won it in 2024. If we look at, if Josh Shapiro is on the ticket, if Josh Shapiro was on the ticket in 2024, I do think Kamala Harris could have won Pennsylvania, and I do think in this election, Kamala Harris and Josh Shapiro will both be able to win Pennsylvania. And if we look at the 2024 election, Wisconsin was the closest state to going to Kamala Harris out of any of the swing states. So I do believe that in this election, by this time, I do believe Trump will be polling around negative 6%, negative 7%. So I do believe Kamala Harris and Josh Shapiro will be able to win Wisconsin. But I do think Michigan and Georgia will both go to J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. If we look at the 2024 election, Georgia went to Trump by over 2 points, and Michigan went to Trump by over a point. And the only reason I have Kamala Harris winning Pennsylvania is because of Josh Shapiro. With like no politicians on the ticket that are connected to Michigan or Georgia, I do believe that Kamala Harris will lose Michigan and Georgia, leading her to lose the 2028 election. Without Josh Shapiro on the ticket, I would have J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio taking Pennsylvania. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and tell me what you think Kamala Harris should do down in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and peace out.